At last,
Hello,
Hello.
and welcome to the Dom Slevs show.
Welcome.
I'm Dom Hennequin.
And I'm Slevs.
Just
Just
Slevs.
Slevs. Yeah. Even on camera.
Even
Just
on
Slevs,
camera.
yeah.
Welcome to our very first video
Yes.
edition of the Dom and Slevs show. It's our third edition of the program. Our third week at doing this, and we've got a bit of Liza. A bit of Liza Minnelli for you. That was a good choice, Slevs.
Yeah, thank you.
Slevs is in charge of our music tonight, as he is every night. And it's getting me in the mood, Slevy.
Oh, there you go. I do pride myself on my musical choices.
Really? I think it's one of your strengths.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would
You're a
agree
triple
with that.
threat. Well, coming up on the
Save that conversation for another time, thank you.
coming up on the show today, we've got the buzz. We've got all the latest
we
news,
do, yeah.
including the very sad news about Robin Williams. Some news about what's happening with the Broadway production of Cabaret. The new production of The Maids by the Sydney Theatre Company that's going to the City Centres series in America with Kate Blanchett, our Kate. And a couple
Is she ours
of...
anymore?
Is she ours anymore? Well, I feel like she is. I feel like she really is. I love Kate Blanchett,
Yeah.
so that's a good story. And we've got a couple of hot topics for you, including a couple of Shut It Downs. What's coming up in Shut It Down, Slevs?
We're going to be talking about celebrities doing musical theatre when they just shouldn't. And some TV presenters that I can't stand.
So stay tuned. This is the Dom and Slevs show. Before we go any further, let's get stuck into the day's news.
Yes, let's.
So it's time for all the latest buzz, and before we get into it, I think I need a stiff drink because it's been a big week.
It
hasn't
has. It's been a
Slevs?
huge
Yeah.
week.
What are we
Huge.
drinking tonight? We're drinking a bit of Jack Estate Shiraz from 2012, vintage 2012.
Vintage.
There you go. So get some of that at home. A bit of advertising for you. Let's cheers.
Cheers.
All right, let's get stuck into it. So, sadly this week we lost one of the greatest comedians that has ever really lived, and a comedian that I certainly grew up with. Robin Williams died, unfortunately, on Monday American time, Tuesday Australian time this week. That was very sad. It was ruled as suspected
suicide.
He was apparently suffering from depression. So he leaves behind a family and a whole world of fans. And he gave us so many different great performances. So
He did.
He was great as a comedian, great as a TV star, and great as a movie star as well. In movies both funny and sad. He won an Oscar for Good Will Hunting, which he starred in with Matt Damon. And he also won our hearts as Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, yes.
Hello! And so many other classics, but some really sad ones as well. Do you remember Patch Adams?
That was a very sad film.
Really
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he did a lot of his serious ones later on in his career. Certainly, like, a lot of the 90s stuff was when he did all of his, the big comedies.
Bicentennial Man as
Yeah.
well, though, like early 2000s. That was that.
I love that film.
Yeah. Really good film.
I think there was a Celine Dion number in that.
Really? What
Yeah.
was it?
It was, I think it's called To Love You More. Yeah.
To love you more.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that featured in that film.
All you've got to do a Celine Dion impersonation is do that little riff.
That's all there is to it. There you go.
That's all it is.
That's
But Celine, if you want to come on the show, we're more than happy
available.
to have you. But yeah, so he won an Oscar for that, and he also appeared on Broadway a couple of times as well. He did his comedy show in 2002 on Broadway, Robin Williams Live on Broadway, which in like grade 5 and 6, I think I knew every word of that show. Yeah, I really liked Robin Williams. And I didn't know, it's funny, like, watching it later on in life and actually knowing politics and stuff, like pop culture a little bit more. I had no idea what I was talking about when I was like, when you're a kid and you just like regurgitate whatever. But yeah, like it was absolutely funny, and you just had this infatigable delivery of things as well.
He certainly did.
Yeah, but as I said, he did appear on Broadway a few times as well. as well as acting on Broadway. So in 2011, he starred in a play called Bengal Tiger at the Baghdad Zoo, which was about the invasion of Iraq.
Oh, okay.
And he was also Lucky in the Broadway revival of Waiting for Godot, opposite Steve Martin. So there you go. Really, really multi-talented man. Went to the Juilliard School of Performing Arts as well. So he was a really trained actor as much as he was a crazy, amazing comedian.
He was he knew his craft. He was very good.
But what I think we find with celebrities passing away, especially ones as big as Robin Williams, is that the onslaught of social media is so, polarizing to so many people. I couldn't really look on Facebook because there was just too much going on.
It's very intense. So intense.
Yeah, but what we have looked at today is some of the celebrity responses. Some of them have been really respectful, but some of them have been a little askew, a little bit odd. Slevs, what have you got there?
I've got one from one Miley Ray Cyrus, who tweeted early this morning. I can't take the Robin Williams news. I've never cried over someone I've never met, but I can't stop. Followed by 4 cat emoticons with tears.
Now, I think Robin Williams would want us all to have a little, a little bit of a laugh. After what's been such a awful
We're
week.
always laughing at Miley's expense.
And I guess a Miley Cyrus, status is something to do that. What else do we see?
Another one from Lilo, Lindsay Lohan. Mr. Williams visited me the first day of filming The Parent Trap. It was a while back. I will never forget his kindness. What an enormous loss. My condolences.
Yeah, Robin Williams had a trade of marking big moments, and that was the moment where Lindsay's career
plummeted.
Started to plummet. Yeah, absolutely. What did Ellen say? I'm sure that's enough.
Ellen said, I can't believe the news about Robin Williams. He gave so much to so many people. I'm heartbroken.
Yeah. I think one of the funnier ones was kind of Mara Wilson. Do you remember?
Yes, Mara Wilson, yes.
Remember her?
From Matilda fame.
Matilda and every children's film from the 90s.
She was huge in the 90s.
She was.
She did Miracle on 34th Street.
Yeah,
as well.
The remake of that. What else was she in? So she was in Matilda. She was in some dreadful Thomas the Tank Engine.
She was, that's
movie.
right. Yeah, she was.
I remember that when she started, when child stars start to grow up a little bit and you're just like,
it got awkward.
Ooh, they hit puberty.
I think she's been to college now. God knows what she's
she retired from acting and all that. She's a class act, but I just found what she said was funny, really. Just very sad, very upset, very glad I did not have to hear about this through Twitter. Probably going to be taking a bit of time off it for a while. I didn't know you were on Twitter. So there you go. We're gonna miss you. Gonna miss you, babe. But I have to say, in order to give you a good laugh, the funniest tweet that I saw, and I don't think it's intended to be funny, and that just makes it funnier, would have to be from Cher.
Yeah. It's the one and only.
Yeah. I can't even read this. Can you read this? Can you do a bit of a Cher?
I'll try, but it won't be great.
And this is verbatim, what she's actually written here. This is actually what. Yeah.
He was sweet, lovely man. He ran high voltage, mind always going. It was who he was. I know well. Many exes from high. There is only low. So sad? Question mark? I'm questioning you, we're sad. What's happening, Cher?
Many X's from high.
There is
only low. Period. So sad?
So sad?
I tell you what, if you don't follow Cher on Twitter, today is the day, because that...
I think I will be now.
Yeah, I feel like that's a gold mine.
That.
Yeah, I feel like next week, the whole show is just going to be Cher tweets.
Oh, bless her.
You're watching the Dom Slevs show. Thanks for being with us. We're going to move on from this sort of somber news now to Emma Stone apparently is joining Cabaret.
I love her.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what have I seen her in. I saw her in The Help.
Yeah, she was in The Help.
That.
Yeah, I think did she get nominated for that? Maybe not.
Maybe, I don't know. Everyone else did. All the Octavia Spencer won an Oscar, and who's the other girl?
Viola Davis.
Viola Davis.
Yeah, Viola Davis. Yeah.
Boy, I tell you what, when that movie was coming out, Viola Davis, when she was doing interviews, I remember seeing her on Letterman, and some of the stuff she was wearing, like in The Help, she plays such a maternal kind of, you know, sort of loving kind of housekeeper, nanny, slave, I guess, really is the whole deal with The Help. But just her interviews, like on Letterman and on those Tonight shows, the dresses she was wearing were like up to here and so tight, and it was just like, okay, like, you know,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But no, she was really good in that, and so was Emma Stone. What else did she be in?
She started in Superbad, which is that, you know, that huge comedy a while back.
Oh, she was in Superbad.
And then she was in
I didn't know that.
Easy A, which was another one she did, and Crazy Stupid Love. It's the one that I remember her from, with Ryan Gosling. And then she was in the Spider-Man.
Oh, the Amazing
Spider-Man, like when they recast it.
Yeah, that reboot.
With Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
So.
And she's dating Andrew Garfield.
Yes. Yeah,
Who's
that's
also
right.
a Broadway person. He's been on Broadway a couple of times.
But this would be her first show on Broadway, I think. If she
I think so,
if she
yeah.
ends up
Definitely
doing
her first musical. Replacing Michelle Williams in Cabaret, I believe. So we're going to touch a little bit on this a little bit later in the show. But celebrities in theatre shows, in musical theatre shows, is it the only way to get your show funded? We don't know. But I like Emma Stone. I don't know whether she can sing.
Well, I didn't know.
We'll find out.
We will. I wasn't even sure if Michelle Williams would be able to do it. But...
And I'm not sure if she could really sing, but yeah, I think all the
did.
reviews were kind of like, well, she acted it. Yeah, which is always usually the case, really. Let's keep moving on. The Rob Guest Endowment Fund.
Yes.
Now, is that happening this week?
They've just had the semi-finals.
Yeah.
So they are... Yeah, so they've now put it down to 6 finalists.
Yeah.
And then they have a ceremony, which I think is... They have a concert. I'm not sure when it is, but it's soon.
Okay.
Yes, so they've put it down to 6 finalists.
Yeah.
And...
So who have we got? We've got our mate.
We do have our mate. We have our mate.
Josh Robson.
Josh Robson is one of the 6 finalists.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. We also... One of the other ones is Ben Bennett, who was a... Oh, there you go. It's in October. The concert. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We also have Ben Bennett, who was one of the... He got like an encouragement award last year as one of the finalists. There is also... I can find it.
A couple of others.
There's a few others. Here we are. There's
go.
Andrew Cook. There is Angela... And there's 3 girls. So 3 guys, 3 girls. I think that's generally the formula they use. The 3 girls are Angela Skundi, Monica Swain, and Carla Tonkic. So, yeah, they had to go through a whole process to get through this. You put an application through, then you, I guess have an audition sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then you end up, you're going through a whole range of auditions and callbacks and, like, you know, you have to prove yourself in all 3 areas, acting, singing and dancing. The main idea behind it's been around since 2009. The main idea behind the endowment, when Rob Guest first created it, of course he's no longer with us, but it was about professional development for young up-and-coming artists. So in order to be eligible, you can't have done a main role in any professional shows. You can have been an ensemble member, but you can't have been in any professional.
Yeah, because it's kind of like
lead role.
You've got it. Yeah,
exactly.
You've already done it.
Yeah, so the award they get is like they get like a $20,000 cash prize.
Yeah,
it goes towards their professional in development and a headshot package. And they get
with whom?
Blueprint Studios. It's a blueprint, and then they also get to perform at next year's concert as like a bit like Miss Universe Australia, like whoever wins, you get to come back the next year and hand over
your crown,
your endowment, but probably not your $20,000 because probably gone.
I feel like that's gone.
I feel like it's gone.
Yeah, getting through the rest.
But
of the year.
So good luck to all the 6 finalists.
Who are some of the past nominees?
Some of the past people. Ewan Doidge has been nominated.
Yeah, he's been
a couple of times in the last
times.
few years. Last year's when it was a girl called Samantha Lee Dodemaid. She's went to study over in New York City, but she's been in shows like King Kong, Producers, Anything Goes. She's done a lot of things with the production company, and so she was the actual winner last year. Ed Gray was also a finalist last year, who's currently Bok in Wicked.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he was good. He was really good in Wicked. Yeah.
So yeah, there's some good people that have come through that. And at the concert, they've announced that Natalie Bassingthwaighte will be performing with the cast of, well, not with, but along with the cast of Wicked. So
when I read that before, I was just like, please do not tell me she's going to be performing like a Wicked song.
Oh, imagine.
With the cast of Wicked. Is that...
I feel like that's
them,
probably...
Just like
no, I think she's...
separately?
I think they're separately, I would say.
Okay.
I would say.
Because that would be great. Natalie Bassingthwaighte as Elphaba or something
Imagine.
like that.
But, so that's exciting. I think it's a really great thing that they do. This year, I think they rotate the judges that actually decide. This year, the judges were Stuart Maunder, who's directed a heap of shows. He's been around in the industry for ages. His daughter, Lucy Maunder, is currently touring as Rizzo in Greece.
Yeah.
But he's directed heaps and heaps of things. Guy Simpson is a musical director who's done a lot of shows over the years. And Todd McKenney was the other judge.
Todd McKenney. Love him. Is he still around?
He is.
Is Dancing with the Stars still on?
I don't feel like
hasn't
that
been on for a
returned
little
this
while.
year. I think last year's ratings kind of
Plummeted.
finished it. But no, he's still around. He's doing La Cage aux Folles with production company at the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
As Alvin,
I
the
can see that.
drag role.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a surprise.
Well,
so yeah, look, I
you never have to go too far for Slevs' opinion.
I saw him in The
feel
Boy from
like-
Oz production company, and he was fine. He was good in that role. He was fine.
You have such a tell.
I what?
Yeah, you have such a tell of just and he was fine. Like he was fine.
He was fine. I'm just not the biggest
Was
fan.
he?
Like I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Whatever. We
So
won't talk
good
about
luck
it.
to all the nominees. Okay. Before I move on, just quickly, The Maids, which is I don't know, it's not a very popular play anymore, but it was quite a revolutionary French play.
French.
Yeah.
I was going to say Russian. I wasn't sure.
Russian. No, it's French.
French.
Yeah, by a French playwright. The Sydney Theatre Company do a thing where they combine. They sometimes bring some of their shows to Broadway. They did a few years ago with A Streetcar Named Desire, starring Cate Blanchett as Blanche.
As Blanche Dubois.
Blanche Dubois. And then she went on to win an Oscar for pretty much playing a version of a Blanche Dubois character in what's that movie called?
Woody Allen's film.
Blue Jasmine, which is just incredible. Go and see it if you've never seen it.
I need to see that one.
Do it. Get it. I've got it. I'll lend it to you.
Oh, great.
Good. Yeah. But yeah, she will be starring in that along with Isabella Huppert or something like that.
Oh, she's a French actress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's we did it at uni at one point, and we split the roles between like 30 people. So there's only really like 2 or 3 roles actually. There's only like 3 roles. But it is a really challenging piece in some ways because it's not very easily accessible, I guess. I still don't understand a lot of it. But I just think it's really cool that the Sydney Theatre Company, they've combined, they've joined for the City Centres series.
This is Lincoln Centre in New York.
I believe it's Lincoln Centre. No, I believe it's City Centre. I think that might be something
okay.
different. Look, I'm not sure. I don't know. But yeah, that's brought us different things like, Anything Goes a couple of times, and Gypsy was there before it went to Broadway with Patti LuPone. And yeah, so that'll be in New York very, very soon. So Kate's back on the white way.
She's back.
Yeah.
Is she still her and her husband's still the artistic directors of Sydney?
No,
Sydney
so I think
Theatre.
they did their term, her and Andrew Upton, of 5 years or something like that. Yeah. So they did their full term. But yeah, they're no longer heads of the Sydney Theatre Company, but they still are involved in it, which I think is great because they're really good. They're a good representation of what Australians can do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's scoot along, because we've only got a couple of minutes of this segment left, to Anything Goes Australian Tour. So
Yes.
it's happening.
It's happening.
Frosty.
They announced.
Thank you. Well done, John Frost.
It was announced, Monday
Yeah.
this week, that Opera Australia and John Frost in conjunction will be producing Anything Goes next year. So it's going to be happening at the Princess Theatre in July.
Yep.
And then moving up to
I was
Sydney.
about to say in Geelong.
No,
That was
down in
just
Geelong,
the Princess Theatre, Geelong. Yeah.
Trek down. No, the Princess Theatre in Melbourne, and then it'll be moving up to Sydney to perform at the Opera House in September. So we are seeing it first. And it's the revival version, so the Sutton Foster revival that was on Broadway.
Anything
That has
goes.
That has the
Stop.
stop the nasalness. So it's that version that's coming. So it's the new book that they rewrote. So that's exciting.
That's really exciting. Which, nonetheless, so John Frost producing Dean.
What are you going to do?
So with John Frost producing,
Yes. Pardon me.
there's
for
only
interrupting.
few options of who can really be cast. Let's throw some names into the ring, Slevy.
Well, look, I said this when it was announced. Is Amanda going to be Reno? She has already played the role. She played it.
This is Amanda Harrison.
This is Amanda Harrison. Sorry. She played the role at the production company, and I saw it. Mm-hmm. It was atrocious. It was her
I
first
believe you
kind
used
of
a
role.
term that was much harsher than that.
It was an abortion.
I did not expect you to use that. Okay, all right. I do not condone the usage of that word, but if it must be.
Yeah. Blame Mark Carney. He's
He dropped it on.
Mark, it's your fault. No, so that was her kind of role, the first role she'd done since she had a baby.
Yeah.
It was her comeback. Not comeback, but, her first,
Well,
maybe it was.
She kind of...
A little bit of a comeback.
Yeah. And,
look, it wasn't even just her. The actual production, that was not a very good year for the production company, in my opinion. And they didn't do very good shows, and that was...
Can I just, Slevs has already used the word abortion, and I've drunk a lot more than he has. I feel like the show can only get better from here.
So so I just said, look, maybe she'll do it again.
Maybe.
Like, John Frost didn't produce that.
Why was it so bad? Like the production company one.
The casting was not good across the board. It was just really bland. It was just a
bland production.
Bland. It just had nothing going for it.
I think that's
it was
the
just
thing
a really
with the production
empty
company.
show.
Like sometimes you pay full price for a ticket, and I get they've
The
only got a
set
few
was
weeks
like one of the worst sets they've ever done.
Was
And like
it
they
really
don't
a
really
set,
put a
though?
lot of set in, but what they did have there was just not
appropriate.
not good. And she was just not. She clearly just wasn't up to it at that point. So it was sad. But that's what I said. I said, will she do it again? But
yeah. So do you reckon she will?
oh,
Do you
look,
reckon they'd
I think
cast
she'd
her?
be interested. I don't know if they'd cast her. I reckon she'd be gunning for it. But
Well, she's got a great resume. You have to hand it to her. I mean, Boy from Oz, which is, not a great show, but it is a popular show, I guess.
It is a popular show. That's it.
What did she do after that?
Oh, that reminds me. I need to talk about a show I saw last week. I'll talk about that later.
All right, cool. We Will Rock You.
Yes.
Which she did on the West End as well in the ensemble, and then played the lead role over here. Wicked, which she opened and then left for a little while after a bit of
some throat issues.
Some throat issues, and then came back and then had to leave again. And then Anything Goes, An Officer and a Gentleman, which looks like the worst.
Yeah,
it just looked
didn't
like
last, did it?
the worst.
Did not last.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's a good resume, I guess.
Yeah.
As in, she's done pretty much every new show that's come here. So, I don't know. I feel like she may well have a chance. But anyway, we'll see what happens.
Get Gemma.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Anything
I feel like there'll be a lot of.
goes.
It depends. Like they're obviously not going to do open calls for the leads.
No.
I don't even know that Opera Australia do open calls for any part.
Maybe it'll be Lisa.
But
Because you said before that
worse.
Opera Australia they're actually producing the King
yes,
and
it
I.
is. It is Opera Australia. Yeah.
Bring her over. Transfer the cast over. What's that three-pronged name again?
Lou Diamond Phillips.
Get him in it. Moonface. Whatever. You're watching
God,
the
it
Dom.
becomes an Australian.
You're watching the Dom and Slevs show. We'll be right back with a little bit more of juiciness to come. Stay with us. You're watching the Dom and Slevs show. Do you want a bit of a top up?
Sure.
Yeah, beautiful.
Why not?
So, I'm topping you up, Slevs, because I want you to be brutally honest. You went and saw you went and saw a show the other night.
I did.
A school show.
I don't see school shows very often.
Why?
Good reason.
Why?
Because they generally... I like to call school shows. They're just like... I feel like they're going for the Guinness World Record of how many people can be fit onto a tiny stage.
Yeah.
That's what they're really about.
And
it's
how many
not
people...
let's put on a good quality show, that's for sure. Because this show... So, I went last Friday night, I went on down to St Bernard's College.
St Bernard's College.
Yes, in Essendon.
Shout out.
Yes, hello to anyone there. And they do their shows in partnership with St Columbus College. And this year they decided to present Shout.
Shout out to Shout.
Shout, The Legend of the Wild One, which is, of course, the musical about Johnny O'Keefe.
Yeah.
He was an Aussie rock star in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, you don't seem to care.
Absolutely nil interest. It's been done professionally. I think Tim Campbell did a touring version of it, but it whatever. It didn't stay on anyone's
Obviously
radar.
You didn't see it.
This production was appalling. Absolutely rubbish.
You're the only person that I know who would hold a school production up to your standards.
I know it's a school production, and but why? Like, why strive to be bad? Don't you want to be good? Like, why would you just want to be bad? Like, I know it's like, just let the kids have fun and whatever. No. People are paying good money. I think I paid like $28 for a ticket for this piece of shit. It was just, I actually, you know what it is? It's not even just the school. I actually didn't realise how bad the Shouts book is.
The story.
The actual book. It was written by, amongst others, John Michael Housen, who also wrote the book for Dusty. So, that's enough said there. But it's
My generation only knows him. Like, I only know him from, like, Good Morning Australia.
Good Morning,
Do you remember?
GMA.
He'd be on every second morning.
Now here's Moira.
And here's John Michael Housen.
And it'd always be on, and what are
you doing? Yeah, what do you do anymore? Where did you come from?
Exactly. No, so he was one of the book writers, and this show, it's such a poor excuse for a jukebox musical because they've crammed as many of his hits as they possibly can into the show.
Yeah.
And the story is just nothing. It's so poorly constructed. Not 1 minute, it's just girls. It's really, really just an excuse to sing his songs and have all the girls, the teenage girls at the time, obviously played by, the cast, fawning over him. And that's just kind of how the whole show is. It's just scene after scene of him singing a song. It may as well just be a concert rather than a musical. And then they throw in these other scenes now and again of, the breakdown of his marriage, which happens in about one scene when she decides to sing Crazy by Patsy Cline. And
I love that. Yeah, right.
And, the
our marriage is breaking down.
Yeah, and next minute he's in London and he's like, having a mental breakdown, which they do by having him imagine all the people at this party in London, all these British snobs, like singing lines from his songs. It's just so bizarre. It's so weird. And it's so poorly constructed. It's so terrible. And this production just didn't help it at all because when you start with bad material, where are you going to go? What are you going to do with it? You can't change it. So the problem was that, they could have at least gotten away with it if they'd just distracted us with,
lighting
and good
costume,
and good curry.
Curry, yeah.
Terrible costumes.
What were they wearing?
Just like a ragtag group of just nothing. Like, I don't even know what it was. One of the girls who's like the second wife, that the show starts with, so it's a, you know, goes back in time. It's a
Yeah.
flashback. She's wearing like a kimono or something, and she looks like she was from a production of The Mikado. I was so confused from start to finish about what era are we in? Why are you Asian? Like, I was just so confused. So then, yeah, bad costumes, and the choreography was just repeating steps, but not even like in an interesting way. Just repeating steps blatantly in front of you, repeating the same step about 10 times.
Was there a bug step?
There was buck steps. There was, spin outs and spin out the other way, and then spin out that way again, and just over and over.
Over and over again.
The only number that actually had heaps of choreography that was interesting was the finale being Shout, when the cast just went wild.
Shout.
But that was too much because there was just way too much going on, and people just not knowing what they were doing. So it just wasn't bad. The only good things I can say about it is that the set was whatever. The set was fine. The set served its purpose. The only thing I can say
The only good thing I can say about it is
the two performers who played
nothing.
The two young students who played his parents, they were great. They were really great. They were very funny. They had this whole bit where they walked through the audience pretending to sit down for one of his concerts and asking these people to move. It was very funny. That was good. Don't know if that's in the original script or they added it. And then, so they were quite good. The actual kid that played Johnny O'Keefe had a great voice for it. He sang it really well. You could tell he was very tired. It's a very big role for a high school student to take on, let alone a professional performer, because you're constantly singing, and it's all. A lot of his songs are actually quite high, in the range. So, but he did very well. But the rest of them, just nothing. Like, they couldn't decide what country they were from. A lot of them, like, are you Australian? Are you American? Are you Japanese? Like, just couldn't tell. The one that was his wife for the majority of the show was supposed to be German. Yeah. I think she sounded like every accent in the world except that. Just. That's it. That's all I have to say. My suggestion, no one should do that show. No one should ever, school, amateur musical company, professionally, no one. Just stop doing it. Boycott it, put it in the rubbish heap and be done with it, because it's just bad.
Well, there you have it. A review of Shout the Book and a review of your production. You asked for it, school. We'll be right back on the Dom and Slevs show. Let's have a drink. You're watching the Dom and Slevs show. Hello, I'm Dom Hennequin.
And I'm Slevs.
Just Slevs.
Just Slevs.
Yeah. It's time to take a drink now, because we're welcoming you to our segment.
Shut it down.
Shut it down. Alright, so this week we are talking about TV personalities that we just absolutely cannot stand. Now, I feel like looking at this list, we're going to disagree on some of these people.
Oh, I think we will.
But number one, Slevs.
I'm not a TV personality.
No, neither of us are. But let's begin. So I've put down Koshy. David Kosh. Love you, hate you, love you even more, hate you even more. And he's wearing some pretty fancy ties these days if you're watching Sunrise.
I just hate. There's no middle ground with me for Koshy.
Love or hate?
Between the voice, hate. Between the voice, the bald head.
Yeah.
Good morning. The way that he talks and
patrollers. Welcome to Sunrise.
He sounds about 30 years older than he looks. Like,
it's just so bizarre, isn't it? But somehow they win the ratings every morning. It's just really strange.
I think people like him because he's, I don't know what it is. Is it the fact that is he warm though?
I don't know.
Yes, he's warm.
He's such a dad. Though.
He is
I
a
think
dad.
That's the big thing that really won them over, was the family kind of mentality of just like, he's such a dag, and like he's so unappealing. He must be appealing. I feel like that's half the battle with this.
There's got to be something going on there, because
But Mel's not even on it anymore. So it's not even Koshi
they don't
and
even
Mel.
have that banter that they used to have.
No, it's Koshi and
They
Sam.
replaced it with another blonde.
With another blonde. I do like Sam though. She actually is a bit more sassy than Mel. Whereas Mel was a bit more like... like, can you imagine this show if you had a Mel? It'd never work.
No.
No.
That wouldn't get anywhere.
No. Let's move on. Oh,
Who are we talking about?
I think this person.
Scott Cam. I don't buy it. Not one bit.
You don't buy
I
it.
don't buy this blokey, average Australian act.
What do you mean?
that
You
he
reckon he's
puts
just
on.
faking it?
No, I
You reckon
think
he gets
honestly
home and goes, honey, I'm home.
No, not in that
I'm
sense.
home.
Not in that
Is
sense.
the frittata ready? And he's got like some really pink house and it's beautifully decorated.
Well, maybe. Who knows?
And
But
he's like,
not in that sense, no. I just mean...
tweet us. What would you find out? What would you do if you found out that Scott Cam was gay?
Oh, I think
like
the
a
country
flaming
would
road.
split apart. Would implode.
Viewing for the block I feel like it would subsequently implode and explode.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like tons of gay people would just be like starting to watch, and lots of straight people would be like, "Oh, nah."
Nah, not Scotty Cam. No way.
But you got to hand it to. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a perfect host for that show. Perfect.
I
They've done well for themselves there, and that's that's part of the appeal why the show's so popular because of him.
My good friend Mark Carney said it very well in 2013 at some point that they must have found him hanging around somewhere on a building or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Just been like, do you want to host the block? You're like, do you want to do Burke's Backyard or whatever?
I don't know. It's just something about him. I just think he's just too nice and too endearing and like.
Is he? I feel like he's a real
average
cunt.
Yeah. Well, maybe in real life.
I feel like you could just sense it and just like you really think.
Maybe that's the act.
Didn't he win the Gold Logie this year? Oh my god, he did.
Yeah, I think he did.
Isn't that just good on him? Love it. There you go, Australia. This is what you create. Speaking of Scott Cam, another person that I can't really stand, Shelley Craft.
Oh, Shelley.
I couldn't stand her when I was a kid watching Saturday Disney. Can't stand her now watching the blog. Not that I ever watched.
And what else is she? She's still doing Funniest Home Videos. She was
is
on
that show
too.
even still on?
I think it's still.
Is that still a
on.
thing?
I think it
my
still
God. Yeah, right. Well, she does that then. Yeah, they poached her from Channel 7 where she was hosting, not Getaway, The Great Outdoors or something like that.
Some travel show.
Yeah,
something.
I love those travel shows.
Yeah.
I never watched them, but I just love the falseness of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look at me eating food. Cut. Somebody eat this for me.
Please get this out of my sight.
Another one, Angela Bishop. Now, I feel like I, with all the people that got fired at Channel 10 this year and last year and like the year before, every year, how do you not get fired? How do you
I
still
love
have a job?
Angela Bishop. I'm just going to put it out there. I think she's great.
I think I respect her in the sense of just kind of like, well, something that's stuck around for this long.
You can't get rid of it.
Literally everybody else at Channel 10 has left or been fired or been made redundant, and somehow, through it all, Angela
She's
Bishop's
still
job
schlepping
is
it through the Channel 10. Yeah.
She is like the predominant pleb, I feel like. She is just the epitome of pleb, and I think
that's why I like her. She's the pleb,
you're a pleb
of
at heart.
network television.
We're all plebs at heart, I suppose. Yeah. So Angela Bishop, I don't know. Let's shut it down, but maybe don't.
Look, keep her around. I think she's good value.
Her showbiz file.
Her
on
showbiz
Studio
reports.
10. Love it.
Her terrible interviews with celebrities.
Yeah. It's just like all of her interviews, though, are serious, just very, very blatantly product placement kind of interviews, as are all those movie interviews. But it's just like, I had an exclusive interview with Harry Styles, and you'll never guess what came out of that. Nothing. You know what I mean? Like, just a lot of flirting.
Yeah.
And a lot of nothing, because you're an older woman.
Yeah.
Who's got nothing to tell you. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Anyway, let's move on. I feel like this person.
Grant Denyer.
Yeah, this is your suggestion.
It was my suggestion. Can't stand him.
I love his smile. What's his
No.
smile? It's something like...
Nah, he's definitely a secret prick. Like, no doubt about it. He's definitely behind the scenes. He loses, like he's got to make up something for the fact that he's so short. There's got to be something else
taking
going
some
on
pills
there.
and sniffing some shit.
Just
A secret prick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just can't deal. Can't
Yeah.
deal with it.
I just love the fact that, like, when he was hosting $1 Million Minute or whatever it was called, he pretty much said, like, when they asked him in an interview, like, this is what you want to do, and he's pretty much said, you know, I have no intention to be a game show host for the rest of my life. Don't like it, don't want to do it, but I don't know what I want to do, so I'm going to do it for a bit. Left $1 Million Minute, like, left television, work out his drug problem or whatever. A couple of weeks later, Grant Denyer joins Channel 10 as Family Feud host. But I must say though, Family Feud is.
That is great guns, isn't it?
I've only watched it a couple times, but that is the easiest show in the world to watch.
It is so easy.
You come in wanting to hate it if you've got any brains.
I think that's what it is. I love the concept of that show.
You end up yelling at the TV.
Yeah.
You end up yelling at it. Like, I just, like, no matter how dumb the question is, or the answers are, that Australia... You see, I'm getting riled up already. But you're just like, what? Like, you just suddenly have an opinion on what's the first thing that you do when you get out of the bed in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't know, turn on the lamp. Incorrect. Australia says, turn on the telly. What? Like, you know what I mean? You just get riled up. So, I don't know. Maybe he's made the right route.
Well, maybe. I think it's more the vehicle's good rather than him. But
yeah, well, yeah. It's a really good format.
It is a good format.
Yeah. Who else have we got here? Ugh.
Oh, my favourite. Tracy Grimshaw.
Oh, Trace. I love A Current Affair when it's just like... I never watched the show. But sometimes I see the ads of, you know, the Tracy Grimshaw interview of something. They've got like Tracy Grimshaw.
She loves a good
cursive, and it's just like the official moment when you've made it. You're a pleb now.
You're a pleb now.
You've been interviewed by Tracy Grimshaw.
You're being locked in a room with Tracy.
Yeah, alternatingly sympathetic and then very motherly and harsh. You know, just like.
You know what I'd like to? I want someone to cut together, like. Footage of her at the desk from the years that she's been hosting that, so we can see how much the weight like just fluctuates over that time. It's insane.
She has got to be a les. There's so many rumours.
There were rumours about that though. Look, if she is, good on her. Like,
yeah, good on her. Like, but like,
just get off that bloody show.
Own it. Well, I just think that, but you know what, though, Slevs? That is like one of the highest rated shows.
I know, it's ridiculous.
On that channel.
It's ridiculous.
Isn't that so weird? And you know what she says when it's kind of like, why do you do all this trash? You know, dodgy builders or whatever it is, you know, like dodgy Telstra, dodgy fridges. Like everything is literally like things that, you know, should scare you. But it's just like her argument is, well, the minute by minute ratings or whatever it is tell us that's what you want.
Yeah, that's what.
So we give it
watch.
to you. It's kind of like, well, you've got no integrity, but you're probably making a shitload of money, and you're on one of the highest rated shows on TV. And
you pathetic Australia.
Yep. And yeah, it's an Australia problem, not a Tracy Grimshaw problem. So good on her. But look, come out or get married. No. No, seriously, like whatever. I feel like in this day and age.
Oh, whatever.
If she look, I don't know. I could be completely.
I don't think she should be forced to do it though. Like it's you know.
It's not an Ian Thorpe situation.
No.
Yeah, it was okay to force him.
Well, no.
Yeah, but everyone else.
No, it's not okay to force anyone.
Yeah.
Let's clarify, please.
I'm throwing a name into the ring here, Rove McManus. So he's coming back to Australia to host the project for about 3 months or something like that until the end of the year. After Charlie's hosting for a few months or something. For a few weeks or whatever. So Rove McManus went to the United States after ending his long-running talk show here in Australia a couple of years ago.
He did the same talk show over there, didn't he?
He did. Well, he went overseas to try and, you know, get a format happening for American television, I believe, and it just didn't happen. So he made a pilot or something like that. I think he actually did a sitcom. It was like a sitcom pilot or something like that. Didn't get picked up. And so he returned to Australian screens by doing a show from LA called Rove LA for Foxtel. Did that for a couple of seasons. And I think it's just easier to get guests. He could live in America, keep trying, you know, to get on American TV. And then last year or this year, I think it was this year, he finally got a show on American TV. It was pretty much the show, I don't know whether you remember, speaking of Grant Denyer, he hosted a show called Slideshow.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, which I actually went to the filming of one of them, and it was utterly
Wasn't good, was it?
terrible. But hey, a French format. Hello. Yeah, but Slideshow. So he hosted pretty much the American version of Slideshow for ABC America, and it lasted a season or half a season or something like that. So I don't know. It didn't work.
Is he still with that other girl that looks like Belinda Evans?
Slevs.
No, she does, let's be honest.
Tasma Walton.
Tamsin Walsh.
Tamsin Walsh.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Tasman Walton. Who's that?
I don't know who is. Oh, maybe that is her name.
Is that from Blue Heelers? Oh, that's her. No, Tamsin Walsh.
Tamsin Walton.
Tamsin Walton.
Look at something, whatever.
Yeah.
They're still together,
They're
yeah.
married.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's coming back to Australia now to join his old mates, Carrie Bickmore and Peter Hallier, who used to host,
Probably hasn't spoken to them in the last 12 months, but anyway.
Yeah, who used to host Rove Live or whatever it was with him. And he's hosting the project for a little while. But I just feel that he is a very popular Australian still. But he was never funny.
No, he was never very funny.
You know
No,
what
I
I mean?
never
Like,
got into his show.
Never actually
is he really
funny. I
gonna,
feel like he's one of those comedians who's just kind of like, oh, we all think he's funny, so we just kind of laugh. But like,
Is he really going to get the ratings as well if he comes back and does
I think he
a
might.
talk show again?
I mean, it's okay. Like
People beyond that.
the project though is that they should call it the format. Like it's so quick and all of that. There's not too much time. Like a lot of the humor isn't really funny anyway. We were imitating him at work today of just like when Dave Hughes used to be on it and be like, let's cut to Hughesy for a bit of a commentary on this. What do you think, Hughesy? And Hughesy would be like, oh, you know what I mean? And cut to a clip and be like, oh, Tony Abbott didn't have too much to say today. And then it would cut to Tony Abbott being like, and then cut back to Hughesy going, oh, back to you, Carrie. You know what I mean? It's just so quick. Everything's funny, apparently. I don't know. And you got the warm-up guy going, you know what I mean? So whatever, it might work for him, but I just think that it's definitely one of those cases of like he obviously wants to make it in America, but he's just not funny or really that special. But but the thing is, he holds a dear place in our hearts, as in like in Australian TV's hearts. You know, he used to stay up late to watch Rove, and no matter how unfunny he was a good host. He's good at live TV, so. I don't know. I feel like he should take heed of what he's got here in Australia and appreciate it a little bit more and maybe stay here and start a nightly show again or something like that. Yeah, anyway, that's enough about my rant about Rove. Oh, God. He's back.
Oh, this one. However you want to say it. Osher Ginsberg, we'll go with that. Formerly known as Andrew Ginsberg. What else has he been known by?
I don't know.
Multiple names. Pick one. Pick one and stick to it. He's now hosting The Bachelor, isn't he?
Yeah.
Another poor excuse for reality television. Or for television in general.
Yeah.
But he's, I only, first got to know him when he was hosting Australian Idol, but he'd already been a host on the V channel.
Yeah,
prior
Channel
to that.
V.
But
Andrew G and James Matheson, remember him?
Yeah, James Matheson, yeah. I just don't get it. I don't get
Last
it.
seen on Ten's breakfast show. Ten's ill-fated breakfast. Imagine waking up to this. And coming up this morning, we've got lots of things coming up.
Great.
This is breakfast. Yeah.
Thank you, James.
Terrible.
But
Andrew G.
I just don't get it with him. I don't get it.
What don't you get though?
I don't get the appeal.
I've been listening to his podcast. I've been listening to your podcast, Andy G or Osher Ginsberg or, whatever. But really, let's be honest. Like his podcast is in need of it's okay, I think, but it's just not. He doesn't interview very well because he kind of gushes over the guests a little bit too much, if you know what I mean. But, that's fair enough. Like I would do that if I was interviewing people. I've got no real training at that. But, I think his personality is a little bit dated. I think that's my issue with him. That's probably what I would say. Is that like he's got that early 2000s kind of persona that really worked on Australian Idol, of that kind of surfy dude that's just so like, you know, yeah, man, but also kind of like into pop culture and stuff like that. You know, the Ryan Seacrest of Australia, if you will. And now he's kind of just like, I don't have that much respect for him, because listening to his podcast is kind of alternately sort of, you know, admirable that he's done it and he's interviewing really interesting Australians, but he's also kind of gushing over them and talking about his life. He opens each podcast really like talking about what happened in his life that week, and it's quite grim. So it's kind of quite, you know, some days it's kind of like, oh, that's really cool, but some days it's just really narcissistic. So I think that he is an interesting one to watch. I think it's cool that he's got a show again, though. That's all I would say. I think it's nice to sort of see some of these old celebs come back out.
Yeah, I just wish they were a better product. It was a better product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I won't say too much more. She's not on TV anymore, but Naomi Robson.
Oh, Naomi.
Where'd you go? Last seen hosting some online dating show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You remember, like, she left Today Tonight, and I remember she left.
Didn't she sleep with someone underage, or...
I didn't know.
Wasn't there some big scandal with her?
Well, apparently there is. You researched that.
Maybe that was Gretel Colleen.
Maybe. Really?
Yeah.
I'm shocked either way. But Naomi Robson, I remember when she hosted Today Tonight for like 10 years or something like that. And only recently, when they gave the Today Tonight job to Helen Kapelos after Matt White left, and she had a flub. Helen Kapelos, like, couldn't, I don't know, something went wrong with the teleprompter and she just broke. Like, she just, like, shut down a little bit. And, like, I like Helen, but I think, yeah, everyone started criticising her and calling her the next Naomi Robson. And they started reminiscing on all this shit that Naomi Robson did while she was hosting Today Tonight. Channel 7 apparently wouldn't let her do interviews because she just had no sense of kind of like reality, really. Like, she would just not come across as easygoing and sort of your everyday gal. She'd be talking about riding around in her BMW or getting her hair done or whatever. I don't know. Apparently she was a bit of a brainless
pardon
broad.
me. She had a brief relationship with a drug dealer. That's right.
Oh, no, guys, it's okay.
The primary informant.
She had a brief relationship with a drug dealer, and that's it.
He was the primary
That's
informant
all.
in the Tony Mockbell drug trial.
Oh, okay. It's just the prime, you know, the prime guy in the Tony Mockbell. Don't even worry about it. Yeah. So Naomi Robson, I don't know where you've gone, but get off my TV screen. Get out of my life. What about this next person, Slevs?
Sonia Kruger. Oh, Christ. She is just... she leaves me speechless, and not in a good way. I just have absolutely no time for her on Australian screens.
And yet, mornings. She's
on mornings. She came back to host Big Brother. They put her back on screen. She used to... what did she do before that? She used to host it. They put her on Dance with the Stars.
Yeah. She's just everywhere.
Do you know what I think? Like when Dance with the Stars first started and she was hosting it, it was like, oh, this is something fresh, new, and she should be funny with her quips. And she wasn't just like, you know, your typical dumb blonde assistant presenter.
Yeah.
To, you know, make Daryl look good.
Yeah.
It was more than that. She was funny and that kind of thing. And at that point, I was like, oh yeah, you know, this girl's great. Whatever. Just about the fact she'd mentioned how many times she was in Strictly Ballroom. But, you know, then it's progressively gotten worse. She's progressively become more tacky in every sense, in what she wears.
And this is funny because she started off with what, like a mic that was full of sequins or whatever.
Yeah, like Diamonte
mic.
Yeah, and she's just become more tacky, more stupid. She's become stupid. Television has made her stupid. It really has. I think she had that respect at the beginning, and over time, it's just she's lost it.
Why is she stupid though?
Because she's said stupid things. She's become she's become that person that tacky. She's become the tacky blonde presenter that she could have avoided.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think she's. Look, I think
she's hideous. I think she's just hideous.
I thought, like, I never thought anything of her, and then she got poached by Channel 9, you know, from Channel 7 to host Big Brother and, you know, mornings. And I kind of started looking at, I was just like, she was just one of those people on Channel 7 that I was just like, why are you know, like,
What are you doing
I
there?
never noticed you, don't worry about it. And then she got, you know, when somebody gets poached and you kind of go, oh, is there something special about this person? No, but like, it's not awful. Like, those morning shows are just morning shows. You know what I mean? They're really, or, you know, every second morning they've got something about Michael Bublé, and they talk about the celebrities as if they know them. What's Justin up to this week? He's done, you know, like, you're gonna expect that. And then, you know, she's talking to the, you know, Big Brother contestants as if she actually cares what happens to them. She's just like, I'm gonna go home after this, so I'm going back to my hotel. The Channel 9 have rented me. Have a nice night, you know, Big Brother fans. I think all power to her. Good on her. Yeah. Who's this next person? You've written this down.
Oh, he hosts The Voice.
That guy.
Yeah.
I feel like
Darren
he is the guy that nobody actually knows his name.
No one
Nobody
knows his
where
name.
he came
He's just
from.
that British guy from The Voice.
Yeah,
that
apparently he's
briefly-
on House Husbands as well. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, like,
Yeah, he
don't
was...
care. Couldn't give a shit.
Well, there you go.
Couldn't give a shit.
Yeah, so
He's invisible.
He's the British host that, you know, briefly slept with Delta, and
He what?
Yeah, they briefly dated.
And she dated Seal as well, or some shit.
Oh,
Like,
well,
she's
look,
like,
you know, it's Delta. And she's not on the list. We're not talking about her. And
oh,
we could
she
hear
should
all
be.
night
She should be. All right, go on.
put in front of a firing squad. Darren McMullen, yeah, so he's a British host. For a start, why is a British person hosting?
Yeah,
Not that I have
firstly,
I actually don't
I
have any
would
time
rather
for this show. I
Sonia
can't
hosting
stand
it.
this show. But, however, why is a British
said
person
that.
hosting it? Having
Yeah.
said that, if you're gonna at least turn the format, you know, from the overseas and put it on Australian screens, at least get someone Australian to host it, for God's sake.
I agree.
But yeah, and he's still hosting it. I think he hosts The Voice Kids as well, so he does all of it.
Yeah. Well, what has this
And-
got to do? We'd never know.
We'd never know.
He's invisible.
And then he managed to get himself an acting gig on The House Husbands,
House Husbands.
playing a new flame for what's his name, Guyton Grantley.
Oh, is that what he's doing?
Yeah, so he's playing a gay character on the show, but he managed to get himself an acting gig.
Yeah, apparently he's an actor as well. He was at the Logies and he made a joke about, you know, sort of like, I'm the Scottish guy or whatever, the Irish guy from The Voice, and everyone was just, you know, that nobody knows and nobody knows can act. Everyone in the audience was like, yeah.
You still can't.
Yep. Darren McMullen, shut it down. This is Shut It Down. You're watching
You
Dom
are.
Slevs.
You are.
This next person, oh my goodness, they had an article about this the other day. So this really marks like about almost 15, 16 or 20 years of Sam Newman on the Footy Show.
Far too long.
He's been there. He's the only original person really on the Footy Show still. The AFL Footy Show this is, and he's still on there. What did he do the other day, Slevs? I believe
He exposed his genitals on the latest episode of the show.
I
And
wasn't
this
even
is
shocked
him-
by that. I thought that like
No,
he'd
it's
already
not.
done
But
that.
that's the
many
problem.
times.
It's not shocking anymore. I mean, there was still a bunch of articles about it and people pretending to be outraged, but it's not shocking anymore. But it's just, I marvel at how he is still on.
But what's your
Screen.
biggest problem with this? Is the problem that he does this stuff, or is the problem that Australia watches it?
I think it's more that people have allowed him to continue to be on that show and continue to be this personality that, and I don't think he's an act at all. That is Sam Newman. That's not an act.
Yeah.
That's not something he puts on for the show. That is him 24/7. And, you know, whatever, like if he wants to do that stuff in the privacy of his own home, fine. But the fact that he's managed to keep on this show and get huge ratings
Yeah.
over the years, and people just lap it up.
Yeah.
People just love it. I think it's disgusting.
I don't know. I went to an all-boys school, and you know, all the footy heads, you know, come after every Thursday or whenever the footy show's on now. They would come, you know, and talk about how great it was, whatever happened last night. You know what I mean? Like it's interesting that
It's
from
part
a
of
very
that whole
young
culture,
age,
but I just...
that whole culture just kind of respects guys that do, and kids grow up wanting to do
But
that.
that's what it is. That's what it is. He's influencing because of how long he's been on the show, and the people and families watch this show. It's not like, well, not families, maybe not like young
But
kids, but you know,
Pubs. like
teenagers at least would be watching this show with or without their parents and seeing, you know, this kind of stuff. And I just, ugh,
yeah,
I just cannot, like,
yeah. But congratulations to Sam for making it this far. He's
just
obviously,
get off my screen.
We've got written down here Lisa Wilkinson.
This is mine.
This is yours. I will
It's the
begin
team.
this.
It's Lisa. I've got Lisa and Carl. It's both of them.
I will
It's
begin
the
this
both
by
of them.
saying that I think that... Okay, so I think that I like Lisa Wilkinson. I think that she's
Go on.
pompous. I think that she is out of touch. And I love it. Like, I think that, like, she's being honest. I feel like she's being as honest as you can be after you get up at 2 a.m. in the morning. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you can still be, you know, likable, and I think that she's perfectly likable. Not that I watch her every morning. But, you know, I think that she's, you know, she's a true reflection of the status that she has, if you get what I mean. She's well off. She is married to a well-off, you know, ex-rugby player who's also a journalist or whatever the hell he does. She's also an accomplished journalist and magazine editor and all of that stuff. And there are times, you know, she fakes it every now and then on Today by, you know, like touching the odd guest and being like, I'm so sorry for whatever happened to you or whatever, or, you know, being on Girls on the Grill or whatever. But when she's got an opinion, she's got an opinion. And I think that's great. Whereas, like, with Mel, and I love Melissa Doyle, for instance, but that whole era of Sunrise was a lot of, as I was saying before, a lot of oh, Koshi, oh, well, we'll just let him get away with it. And, you know, it's boring. Like, and then Carl Stefanovic, I remember Adam Boland saying that when he gave us a lecture at Deakin, saying that the morning when Carl was very clearly hungover and had stayed up all night and still drunk from the Logies. Carl's Q rating or whatever it was went skyrocketed because people actually for the first time started to see this guy as a Sam Newman. Do you know what I mean? As an Aussie larrikin everyday guy. And that's apparently what makes Australians like people on TV, if they're relatable and all of that. So, good on them.
Look, opinions, Schminin, I think they're both ridiculous. And it's not even about the fact that they're popular. Whatever. If their popularity is not the issue, I think they absolutely murder carols for me every year. They murder it.
You'd rather Ray?
No, I would rather Ray, to be honest. I would rather Ray come back and do it. I just think they're terrible hosts of that ceremony.
Yeah.
I know Carol's only a once-a-year event, but Carol's like a huge thing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That watch it. And I just think they just kill it for me. And I don't watch any of those morning programs, but the bits and pieces I have seen, yes, I think she's fake. I think she's super fake. And I think I cannot.
What is it
deal.
about him that you can't stand, though?
I think it's the laughing at his own jokes.
I think he just knows that he's just a joke now, though.
Does he, though?
Yeah, but I just love that, like I've said it before, I just love that he is...
They just have absolutely no credibility.
But I just love that he is the face of the news for that network.
Yeah.
He's one of, like, the major faces.
And then he comes to his brother Peter actually in the middle of a war zone.
Yeah.
Reporting on something.
No, but I just love it. I just love that, like, Carl can, like, be baking a pie in the morning and be making a joke about how it looks like a penis or something like that. And then in the afternoon, if news breaks, he's the first one you see. Do you know what I mean? Like, he somehow managed to just bridge that gap between he's the one you trust and he's the one who makes you laugh.
And Lord knows how.
Exactly. He's the Robin Williams and he's also the Academy Award winning, actor. Do you know what I mean? He's got the contrast there. On that note, I feel like we should end there. That was Shut It Down, a very long edition of Shut It Down, but I feel like it was worth it. It was, wasn't it, Slevs?
I think so.
I feel like we have one last sip of wine.
Sure.
Let's pick a little song to go out.
Oh, all right. Hang on.
What have we got?
Let's find something.
Yeah.
Um.
We began with a bit of Liza. I feel like we're going to go out with a little bit of Liza.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just a reminder, we've been drinking some Jack Estate Shiraz from 2012.
We
Wine
have.
of Australia.
Go and get yourself a bottle
Yeah.
or two.
If you want some laughs over the next weekend, why not look up some of Cher's tweets? They're hilarious.
Yeah. And if you haven't listened to us, to our first 2 episodes,
Look at our episodes. Subscribe to our
listen.
channel.
yeah.
So Studio D is the network. We're in Studio D right now.
Part of it.
And like this video if you like this video. It really does help us out. Share this with your friends and we'll be back again next week. For now, I'm Dom Hennigan.
And I'm Slevs.
Just Slevs.
Yes.
And this has been the Dom and Slevs Show.
Ta-da.
We'll see you next week.